If we look at the top 10 best towns in Pennsylvania, 70% of that list is located in the Philadelphia suburbs, according to niche.com. The suburbs are made up of over 100 different towns within the 4 counties that surround Philly. So let's go over some of the best and worst things about some of these towns, and at the end, I'll tell you about one of the fastest growing but most unknown towns within the suburbs. In no specific order, we're starting with Ardmore, Pennsylvania. The first major advantage of Ardmore is the walkability, and not just the downtown area, but the very popular Suburban Square, which was one of the first outdoor shopping centers in the country, and honestly, calling it a shopping center does not even do it justice. Suburban Square is a fantastic outdoor shopping space full of large chain and locally owned shops, restaurants, hair studios, workout facilities, and so much more. The cherry on top for Suburban Square is that it's located right within the Ardmore Ave train station, which has a direct route to Center City. And if you wanted to go to New York City, you could very quickly take the Suburban Square train to Philadelphia and then access the Amtrak line to New York City directly. The downsides of living in Ardmore, starting with the first one, which is if you're looking for a home with a large yard, it might not be the best town for you because it is pretty congested with residential neighborhoods, homes, and businesses as well. The average home sale price in Ardmore is just over $480,000, which might be surprising that it's not much higher for everything that Ardmore has to offer. Another town you need to know about is Lansdale, Pennsylvania, which has a great location because of how accessible Philly and so many other towns are by not only car, but mostly train as well. Lansdale is very popular because in the downtown area, you have so much to do, but on the outskirts, it really is made up of very quiet, great suburban neighborhoods as well. So you really get the best of both worlds when having the close proximity to so much to do in the downtown, but also the quiet suburban feel right on the outskirts. The cost of living in Lansdale is on the lower side with an average home sale price of right around $400,000, but that can drastically change because if you're looking for a home in the downtown area, say it's a small 2 to 3 bedroom townhome or row home compared to something on the outskirts, which is a much larger single family home, of course, the average price points among these 2 different options and all of the different options within Lansdale can drastically change. Some of the cons of living in Lansdale is some residents feel that it's becoming a bit too crowded, especially with all of the new construction homes that are being built and all of the new residents that are moving into the town. So to piggyback off of that one, another con could be the amount of traffic that you'll experience in the downtown area, but also on some of the major highways that run through and around Lansdale as well. Surprisingly, this next town is known across the world. King of Prussia, or KOP for short, is a very popular Philly suburb that is home to the 3rd largest mall in the country. This mall is over 450 stores and has more square feet than the Empire State Building. This is a huge plus for residents to be able to access the mall and all of the dining and shopping options in and around the mall as well. One of the major disadvantages of living in King of Prussia is, of course, if you're living in a town where close to 22 million people visit every single year, of course, the traffic in and around the mall can be pretty bad. This next town that we're going to talk about is a thriving downtown and a pretty lively nightlife if that's something that you're looking for. Conshohocken, or Conchi for short, is one of the few major suburban towns with the convenience and option to both live and work in the same town. Most towns within the Philly suburbs don't really have that option because we don't really have the big businesses out here in the suburbs, and especially in some of the more residential towns, but in Conchi, you can certainly find that. Another advantage of living in Conshohocken is having the Delaware River run right through it. So whether you want to enjoy one of the many activities around the river or just a view, it's a huge advantage to have right there in your town. So one of the disadvantages of living there is the housing. It's scarce and full of high-rise buildings and new construction homes. So depending on what type of home you're planning to buy, it might be a bit difficult to find here in Conshohocken. The town that we're going to talk about later on in the video is truly one of the hidden gems within the suburbs. It's growing quickly, but it's strange because not many people have ever heard of it. It's kind of like those that know about it want to keep it a secret, well, until now. So next, one of the most popular towns that I get asked the most about is Doylestown. The advantages of this town are endless, but just to name a few, starting with the downtown area, also known as the borough. It's not just full of walkability with locally owned shopping and businesses and every type of cuisine that you can imagine, but it's also full of of history with landmarks such as the Mercer Museum, the Michener Art Museum, Fonthill Castle, and one of my favorite aspects about the homes in the downtown borough area is that those that are the historic homes have a plaque on the front porch naming the original owner of the home and also the year that it was built. There are tons of community events throughout the year, so if living in a town where you'll almost always have something to do is important, Doylestown might need to be on your list. The negatives of living in Doylestown is the cost of living, of course, depending on where you're coming from. It could be high or it could feel low. The competitive housing market in this area could also be a con of living in Doylestown or a con of more finding your home there, but that is certainly something I could help you with. If the environment of living in Doylestown sounds great, but you would prefer to be closer to the center city area, then this next town might be perfect. Media, PA has a great downtown area full of restaurants and shopping as well. Media has strong public transportation options between the regional rail line and the active trolley that still travels through the downtown Media area. The potential downside of living in Media is the average cost of living, with the average home sale price of just about $590,000. So if living in or near a downtown thriving area is not something that you're looking for and you prefer something more quiet, remote, serene, then this next town could definitely be what you're looking for. Malvern is a popular town out in Chester County with plenty of wide open land, parks, and most of the homes having large yards. Malvern has the best of both worlds because it's quiet and spread out, but you'll also have easy access to Philadelphia by car or train. Malvern is definitely one of the more popular options for those that want to live out in the suburbs without sacrificing the somewhat close proximity to Philadelphia. And that of course comes with a higher home sale price, right around $740,000. Another potential con, or it could be a pro depending on your personal preference, is just the overall lack of things to do in the Malvern area, because it is pretty remote and more of a spread out town with minimal options for entertainment and nightlife. So before we get into the hidden gem of a town here in the suburbs a little bit later on in this video, the next best town that we're going to talk about is New Hope, Pennsylvania. This very popular town is known for its creativity because over the past 100+ years, it has been known to be full of artists, actors, musicians, etc., with some A-list celebrities both visiting and even living in New Hope. The location of this town is another huge advantage with close proximity to New York City, Philadelphia, and New Jersey. New Hope is a waterfront town right off of the Delaware River, which is the natural divider between Pennsylvania and New Jersey, with a convenient bridge bringing the two together. If you love water, the Delaware River has tons of opportunities for water sports in the warmer months, along with tons of hiking and biking trails surrounding the river as well. Some of the cons of living in New Hope is the center of town area can feel pretty crowded, especially on the nights and weekends, because of all of the different shops and things to do in downtown New Hope. The housing costs in this town are on the higher end because of how desired the area is. Housing in New Hope ranges from a small condo in downtown New Hope to a modern luxury estate on tons of acres or even waterfront, and just about everything else in between. The next town that you need to know about is Phoenixville, which has been completely revitalized with breweries, restaurants, festivals, and tons to do. Another significant advantage of living in Phoenixville is just how far your money can go when it comes to housing. The average home sale price is just shy of $495,000, but for that price you can get a great sized single family home or a brand new construction townhome. The downside of living in Phoenixville is since Phoenixville has been completely revitalized and it's very popular, it's attracting a lot of new residents, which is a great thing, but is also significantly impacting the traffic and overall congestion of the town. While prices are still relatively affordable in Phoenixville, it's hard to say truly just how long that will last due to the overall desirability of this town. So since you stuck with me this far, the town and overall area that is a hidden gem is the Percy and Sellersville overall area. These bordering towns are located in Upper Bucks County, and truthfully, they have been growing significantly over the past 5 years or so, with so many new construction homes and businesses, and truly the entire downtown area of Percy is one that truly so many more people should be talking about, but just really not that many people know about the town and also just the overall growth that this area is experiencing. If you're thinking about making the move to the Philly suburbs, I would love to help you find your perfect home. All of my contact information is below, or you can click the contact link in the description below, and I'll see you over on this next video.